What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Final Fantasy. So, given that we don't have any hunts or anything else that we can do, I suppose it is time to press on to the main story. Quite excited to see where this goes. I didn't expect us to be getting ready to drop another Mother Crystal so soon. I thought they would kind of build up to that the same way the first one did, but we have Uncle Byron to go visit, who I am still looking at with very suspect eyes. I don't see any way possible that he could have kept his station legitimately, given that they cleaned the clock of every other Rosfield. Now, Southern Rosaria, Hawk's Cry Cliff. From these heathered highlands, one might catch a glimpse of Rosalith Castle, and everything else in between. Now, since they gave us a bird, I imagine that these lands are about to get much more open.
Do you think it was wise to leave, Gav? He didn't seem pleased.
I needed his eyes and nose in Dalmekia. I'm not about to let Kupka take us unawares. Besides, he has a knack for that sort of thing.
That he does.
And wasn't it Sid who said that matters such as these are best left to dominance? Especially should one of his beloved opportunities to grow and change present itself.
Embrace the moment.
I always knew that I would return one day. Return to Ironhome.
For what?
After learning the truth, you were given the chance to face your past. If I am to continue at your side, I must do the same.
We will face it together then.
To the end.
The end.
Come on.
Bloodlines. So the Iron Bloods kidnapped her, correct? After what happened to Phoenix Gate, and then forced her into service as their dominant.
More than likely.
That's my current understanding.
There are still many settlements between here and Port Isolde. We visit as many as we can and hear their stories. Starting with the village of Amber.
Yeah, as far as I'm currently aware, that's what happened. After they cleaned out Phoenix Gate, they kind of just rounded up the stragglers and threw them to the sword, essentially. Okay, I gotta hold 5 to dismount. So you don't get into combat while you're on the chocobo. Interesting. Get popping. Will of the Wicks is so strong. That's nuts. More fun to be had.
Stay down.
Probably take this as a learning experience to learn the lining.
It's over.
I'd love to use my chocobo for things like this, but I also don't want to miss out on the XP generation, so... If I'm gonna run into fights along the way, I want to run into the fights along the way, right? I don't want to not have things aggro to me because I'm riding a chocobo. I'm a fan of exploring. And given that I got my chocobo back, I'm not gonna be slaughtering the wild ones here that aren't hurting anybody. think I'd be able to do that with a clear conscience. Good boy, Tobo. Great cooldown time of all the wicks. Will of the Wicks comes back up very, very quickly. I don't want to, just because this is getting easier and we have ways to fast travel, I don't want to get lazy. I still want to explore. What do we have here? Some kind of gravestone. Seems like we might be coming back here for a quest at some point. Alright, where have we been and where haven't we been? We can check down here. Or we just trust maybe that we'll go down there at some point and we'll head to the quest. We did have enemies back up on the high ground to deal with. Clear out this little plane and then we'll circle back. Seems like a good bet. Okay, well, based on what I'm seeing so far, I would definitely recommend Will of the Wicks to everybody. Maybe that's common knowledge at this point, it's an old game, but if you have not played this game before, and watching me play it made you decide to play it, definitely pick up Will of the Wicks. Right, this bird started it though, so I'm not breaking any guidelines here. It's a shame those wild chocobo attack first without thinking about it. I'd rather not. They seem like peaceful creatures in general, but they attack us, we attack them back. Takes care of that little section. Excuse me for that. My internet just went out, so I jumped my window to the line screen. Check up on this little hill and then we'll head into that village. These are the enemies I saw that we hadn't taken care of. Will of the Wicks is also playing perfectly into the way I like to play this game, which is very aggressive and like in the enemy's face. That is putting me in a great position to just do what I like to do the best. Especially given that it eats damage for us too. Not only does it do a constant free amount of DPS while we're doing our thing, but it also eats shots. Kind of think about a more worthy investment. Seems like the high life to me. Probably head into this village.
Mockery of justice is what it is. Lord Elwyn would never have stood for this.
Quiet, you! Thought they were loyalists.
Jill, look.
Black shields.
Rosaria must be cleansed of the stain which befouls her, that she might rise once again from the ashes to welcome a new dawn. 'Twould be a pity to make examples of you all, for the transgressions of but a handful.
Of course, your lordship. You shall have our full cooperation.
What business could the Black Shields have in a village this small? There's barely room to hide a bearer.
Then they must be here for something else.
I mean, this is where our uncle is now.
Gallows jig like the miller's son.
All right, I heard you the first time.
Dancing the gallows. Compliance by fear. The mayor's wife. Yoink. If I help myself to that, dear.
There was a time my husband might have stood up to those men. Though back then, he wouldn't have needed to.
I'm not gonna hold grudges on people who don't want to die for this.
For outlaws.
As much as I can consider that I would myself, it's easier said than done, right? Especially when you have a family that's gonna dance to, as she so eloquently put it, night terror. Increases limit break generation amount by 6% when taking damage. So interested in that.
I suppose we won't be seeing you again.
Now I'm gonna explore this village a little before we go to the main quest giver. I'm invested in taking care of it, whatever's going on. Those black shields I've taken a major dislike into after what happened at Martha's Rest, so Anything I can do to be a thorn in their side, sign me up. I don't even really need an explanation. Up to these villagers first.
Excuse me, but what was all that about earlier?
You haven't heard? Someone's been stirring up trouble. There have been attacks on the garrison, supplies stolen. They even say a Black Shield was murdered. The Empire wants answers, and what the Empire wants, the Empire gets.
Don't they just?
Keep your ears open, eh? The Black Shields will pay good coin for information on the culprits. You'd have to be dull as a sack of stones to think you could take on the Empire.
The other villager is right up here. The guy that's being threatened.
You seen him, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
The Black Shields. Just now. You seen them, didn't you? At least I think they was the Black Shields. Can't say I ever saw one before.
Was this the first time they visited the village?
What do you think? Amber's the arse end of nowhere. And they thought we might be harboring firebrands. Huh. If only we were. I might have turned them in and become a Black Shield myself.
The ignorance of a youth.
Firebrands the Empire is looking for could be us, do you?
I don't know.
How'd you get it?
But we need to find out.
Oh no, and I don't really think it matters ultimately.
2 more left to join the garrison this very morn.
At this rate, there'll be none left to help with the harvest.
Where'd they go?
Greetings, friend. We are travelers.
I know that. What do you want?
We couldn't help noticing those Imperial soldiers who were here earlier.
Don't you go telling these strangers a thing. I speak for the people of this village, and we have nothing more to say to you. You are to leave Amber and never come back.
May I at least ask why?
I don't know who you are or what brings you here, but your presence puts us all in grave danger. The Empire is a harsh master. Its demands are great, and its justice swift. But as long as we keep our heads down and pay our tributes, we are left alone. Some might call it submission. But if it will spare my people the Viceroy's wrath, then I will gladly submit. This village will not become another East Pool.
Plenty of ways to subjugate a people. We're not gonna bring any kind of hammer down on these people if we can avoid it.
These people live with a knife to their throats. In the mistaken belief that if they cooperate, my mother will show them mercy.
Obedience bought with fear.
Are you all right?
Sorry, It's nothing.
It's kind of how
We still
her
don't know who
obedience
the
was
Black
paid
Shields are
for.
looking for.
Well, whoever they are, the Imperials deem them worth pursuing to the back of beyond. But other than Martha, who else in Rosari would have the courage to stand against the Empire? A new ally would certainly be welcome. Can we find them before the Imperials do? Perhaps the next village will yield more answers.
Perhaps.
Even back at the start when she was forced into fighting us. They did that by threatening to kill the children that were with her. Okay, so this looks like we're about to be ready to start moving on. So I'm gonna check down here real quick before we move on. Perfect time to take our chocobo for a spin.
Back to the stables, girl.
She's not allowed down here. I see a dragon that I want to fight. Let's go take care of that. Check around down here and then we'll see where this leads us. I think what actually happened there is I don't think we're allowed to use ambrosia when we're inside villages. I think that's what that is. I'm pretty sure once we get to the other side of this bridge, we'll be able to summon her again, correct? Okay, we can't take our inside settlements. Good to know. It seems like there might be 2 ways to progress to this little village we're meant to go to. I'm gonna go the way it intended. I'll swing back around to that when the time comes. Right now, though, we have a wyvern to fight. That's way too late on that.
Nice try.
There we go. There we go. That's better. That's better. Plenty of practice needed. Still getting a little stuck switching between everything that we had to switch between.
Time to fight.
Okay, so we totally could go up there. Let's take a little bit of this path. And then we'll circle around and swing down the other side. But let's clear as much of this down path as we can. Just the people I was hoping to run into.
More of my mother's pen.
Killing them made me happy that I came down this way. Alright. That's gonna be about it for this section. Alright, let's make our way back on up to the village.
Come on. Fly, Ambrosia.
Get back to the village, and we'll swing around the path it wanted us to go down, because I'm sure there's some goodies up there, since that was the intended path. Plus, there might also be some more black shields up there. Would hate to miss the chance to slaughter some more of those. Speaking of, right on cue. Fit in that an actual shield is the one putting them to bed. I am a fan of just desserts. The more of this we can take care of, the better. Make this land safe to whatever degree we're capable of. All these people seem very downtrodden. So much for our uncle, huh? Aren't these supposed to be his lands? Just chilling, letting this go down.
That's a fair old scar you got there, by the way. How'd you get
It's not looking good for Uncle Byron. I suppose the environment in his location is part of the answer that I'm looking for as to how he got to keep his seat, right?
This pass will take us through the mountains.
And directly into the path of whoever or whatever lurks here.
With pleasure. That's the reason I came this way, not the other way. Fallen artifacts.
Ever since the apology, we've seen more and more of these echoes.
What do you think is waking them? The mother crystals collapse?
I have an idea. You're not going to like it.
Now one would assume that wherever you would find these kind of things, there would be a fallen artifact nearby, right? But I haven't exactly seen much. Wakey, I'm sure you're gonna wake up. Been expecting to run across ruins like that one door we found in the Deadlands that we can open now that we have some more skill. Join back there. Gotta be able to go back through those at some point, right? It just seems like a huge waste of potential if you can't explore fallen ruins as you come across them.
It's over.
Take care of this while we still have Will of the Wicks up. We have here. Bull's horn braid. Okay. Well, there are some fallen chests we can loot. So it's not completely worthless so far. I feel like surely eventually, once we are more attuned with our abilities, with whatever the hell Ultima is, we'll be able to explore things more thoroughly. I hope at least. But in the meantime, happy to slaughter these things. And every black shield we come across. topic. Them getting stuck in the jungle with Will of the Wisps is still one of my favorite things that's happening right now. We'll have to keep an eye out for some hunts as we go along too. I think they might actually be freelance encounters that you gotta kind of come across yourselves, given that we couldn't track any in the hideaway. Shit. Plenty of dead black hands along the way. All in a good day's work. Still quite surprising how smooth the gameplay is to me.
Clive.
And still wet.
Very well made game.
You were told to stay in your homes.
The Black Shields.
You know who we are. And still, you would bear your steel.
Yes.
Why then? We owe you our thanks. You have saved us the trouble of an interrogation. To dwell in darkness, that we may purge the night and welcome lasting dawn. On these, our swords we swear.
Say that again. I'll show you a true shield of Rosaria.
Something first.
Finished.
I guess it's our turn for an interrogation.
Tell me what I want and the end will be swift. Who are you looking for?
Why, you. We come bearing a message. Your friends have been found. The branded you freed from our camps. They await you in Ordeal. Guardians of the Flame.
Those are Old Hill's gates.
Then we hurry.
does not sound good. How are we doing on ability points here? At 1400. Already mastered Will of the Wicks. Got Cyclone, we already hit the reset button on. Now, Pile Drive and Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is my E and my Q is Pile Drive. Judgment Ball, Lightning Rod. Create a ball of line in the upon being. I actually am quite curious about this one. But what would be the better two out of this? Multiple. That's single target. Electrifying all enemies in the radius of the strike. That's multi-target. Single target. And this seems like it drops down and just chain lightens everybody in a radius. So let's take this. I'll upgrade it, but I'm not going to master it. I might not be keeping it. So we'll take Thunderstrike off, given that it's single target, and we'll do Lightning Rod. Let's give us some crowd clear. That should work out quite nicely. So we'll upgrade Pile Drive for 1, 2. Maybe. We ought to level up Gouge at some point too, so let me take care of that. We have 700 points. Upgrade Gouge. We have 200 left over. Right, now all that being said, it's been going on for around 40 minutes. That does seem like a pretty good place to wrap up. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my internet, so... Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you soon with more Final Fantasy. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.